Mike McCarthy got to get big blame for the Cowboys' loss. Secondly, Dak Prescott has to get a major blame for the Cowboys' loss. And lastly, the fans and the expectations have to be blamed for the Cowboys' loss. I will explain. Okay. But we got to start with Mike McCarthy.
Big Mike.
So the Cowboys had 9 penalties yesterday. I believe they had 7 pre-snap penalties yesterday. There's a saying in football, you are either coaching it or you are letting it happen. Now, Mike McCarthy is clearly not coaching the penalties, so in my mind, he was letting them happen. If it was just Randy Gregory making 1 mistake, if it was just Randy Gregory making 2 mistakes, just 1 player, then fine, it's on the player. But at the point in which several players across the Cowboys team are having the same issue, then that's on the coach.
Okay.
Because you have to ask yourself, what occurred during a Wednesday practice? Who made a false start? Who had an offsides where Mike McCarthy didn't check him in that moment?
Randy Gregory.
Who had a holding penalty where Mike McCarthy just let it slide?
Gregory.
It's on the coach if you start to see the same thing happen in totality. And what we saw from the Cowboys yesterday was lack of discipline, a lackadaisical attention to detail, and not the maximal amount of focus when the Cowboys needed it. You can blame Randy Gregory and Cowboys fans, sure. You can blame CeeDee Lamb for a drop. Cowboys fans, go ahead. You can blame DeMarcus Lawrence at times. You can blame – no. If you see the same issue across the board, then who is the one person who deals with the entirety of the board? The one person that deals with the entirety of the Cowboys roster is head coach Mike McCarthy. Now, a little bit later, we're going to get into that last play, which everybody has an opinion about, and I'll show you exactly what defensive call the 49ers were in. I know their defensive coordinator, DeMeco Ryans, but as it stands right now, Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy, that's where you want to start. Man, they don't pay me enough to sit up here and have to eat all this crow. At least you could set the table. First of all, get a table. Give me a bowl, utensil, and some crow, because I know I got to eat some crow. I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm a former Cowboys player. And maybe I let my rooting interest get a little ahead of me to the point where I didn't see this team objectively as I should. I apologize, Emmanuel Acho, for all the counter takes that made you look not as beautifully blessed as you should be. All right, here's Marcellus Wiley right now in the flesh. Let's talk about who to blame. Everyone gets the pie to their face. But now let's look at how big a slice should everyone get. Let's start at the top. Who's to blame for this loss? Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is who I start with. Why didn't the Cowboys go out there and stick to their script, which is run the football? The Cowboys, when they eclipse 100 yards rushing, this team is basically unbeatable. But we saw the Cowboys yesterday not stick to that script. Whether you want to say Ezekiel Elliott, your offseason and your lean and mean return and your abs didn't work, or you want to say, hey, Tony Pollard, where are your touches? This team went out there and underperformed in the running game. Kellen Moore, I don't know who else called the quarterback run up the middle with time wasting 14 seconds on the clock. But it looks like Kellen Moore also a common denominator in that one. So I look at it like in totality, I want to start with Kellen Moore, but I also like the fact that you wanted to talk about the perspective or the lack of perspective myself and fans had about this team. Let's just say this. Are people more disgusted that the 2021 Dallas Cowboys lost the game, or are people more disgusted that this organization once again lost a playoff game? I think that this totality of this situation is a cumulative effect. Here we go again, Cowboys, instead of looking at it for just this game only.
Here's why I can't blame Kellen Moore, and here's why I don't think y'all should either. The only reason you would want to blame Kellen Moore, and I did it first, is the very last play of the game. Cowboys, what in the world are you thinking? Running a quarterback draw out of the shotgun with 14 seconds left. It seems idiotic. But when I was in Philly with DeMeco Ryans, linebacker, he kind of taught me how to play the position. Current defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. We had a defensive play call. And the defensive play call is called picket fence. It's what you do if there are 15 seconds or less in the game, the opposing team has no timeouts. Picket fence is simple. DeMeco Ryans, defensive coordinator, called a play that I know dating back to 2013 with the Philadelphia Eagles when DeMeco Ryans was my linebacker and a team captain. That quarterback draw is a perfect play call against the 49ers defense. I don't blame Kellen Moore, and I definitely do not blame the refs. Dak Prescott had the ball with 5 seconds left. The referee was right there. It was poor execution. And that execution, in my mind, it starts and that execution stops with the head coach, Mike McCarthy, because they have run that play the duration of the season in practice. They just didn't execute it when it mattered, big dog.
Man, big dog, if you want to come over here, come on over here. I heard that Freudian slip when you said execution starts with Yeah, Kellen Moore. You know what it is. It's Kellen Moore, man. He's just a common denominator between too many issues. Even the fake punt that was successful. And then they come back out in punt formation, which was unsuccessful because they get the penalty at that moment. Either that special teams coach and that's Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator, in conjunction in that moment again. Once again, another blooper for the blooper reel of the Dallas Cowboys yesterday. I look at it like this. Kellen Moore, in that play right there, you and D'Amico Ryans, I don't know how many Super Bowls y'all won together. This sounds like the same amount as I did. 0. Here we go. You never run a play that you don't think you can score on. That's just a philosophy, unless there's one exception, and that's a kneel down. Other than that, offensively, why would you ever in that moment run a play where you know Dak Prescott has no chance to go out there and score? So now you're saying it's just about field position. It's just about this right now. We have 14 seconds to go. Dak Prescott, use your mental clock to know you need to get down and then still have some time left for us to run and execute the play for the next play. What are the chances of you going out there and executing the play perfectly? Perfectly. How many times we play in a football game, 60, 70, 80 snaps? How many of them were perfect? Think about what the Dallas Cowboys were asking Dak Prescott to do. Think about what they what they continuously say that they practice over and over again. In perfect conditions, maybe without referees, maybe with referees, but certainly not the elements of 14 seconds left in a do-or-die game. They were asking for perfection in the game they've been imperfect in the entire way. I don't see why you even put yourself in that position. Set yourself up for failure and still expect success.
For 2 reasons. As so many people say, well, Acho, the Cowboys needed so much to go right in that final quarterback draw.
Perfect.
Do you all know how much has to go right on every given offensive and defensive play? You know this. I know this. A center has to coordinate with the guard with the tackle, a tackle with the running back who knows whether or not to help that tackle or not. A wide receiver getting a play call has to execute it perfectly. A quarterback has to throw a good pass if he gets a clean pocket. A running back has to execute. Everybody has to execute on every given play. It is a game of inches. The Cowboys made the right decision in running a quarterback draw as opposed to you could chance a Hail Mary 2 times in a row from the 50, but rather than chancing a Hail Mary 2 times from the 50, which not just has to be perfect, that now has to be lucky. Run a quarterback draw in that moment. The issue for me, Marcellus, Wiley, is Dak Prescott. You're the leader of the team. What I love about that final play is this. The only person that had to touch the ball on that play, if we're not BSing around talking about the center, is Dak Prescott. I love it.
Why?
Because the game comes down to the leader, the captain, the most attention to detail paying, the highest paid. It's not a Dak, throw it to CD, and now trust a second-year player to catch it, slide, give himself up, get up, hand the ball to the ref. It's not a Dak, throw it to Noah Brown, a backup wide receiver. It's not a Dak, throw it to Dalton Schultz. It's no. Dak, you're the leader of the Dallas Cowboys. You are the highest paid player in the league. You are the captain. You are the 6-year NFL veteran. You spent all of last season just watching and learning and studying for this moment. The Dallas Cowboys made the right decision to put the ball into the hands of the person who leads the team. All you have to do, Dak, run your draw, give yourself up at the 30-yard line instead of fighting for an extra 5 yards, hand the ball to the official. Or, Dak, you know what? You're a fighter. You've been a fighter your whole life. Fight for those 5 extra yards. You get tackled at the 25, 9 seconds left. Get up, get the defender off you, sprint to the ref. You could have given the ball to the ref with 5 seconds left. The ref was right behind you. The ref would have given it right down on the ground. The center would have snapped it. Dak could get the ball snapped. I love that the Cowboys gave the ball to their fearless leader with 14 seconds left. Nobody else touched it but $75 million Dak Prescott. But $75 million Dak Prescott did not execute. That's really my issue. At least execute. Now you got a chance. Rather than a Hail Mary, you're at the 25-yard line, and you've seen better than I. Justin Herbert at the 25-yard line, it ain't even a Hail Mary. It's just a bang gate for 6. It's just a post for 6. So I love that in that moment, Stel. Nobody else touch it but $75 million Dak.
Yeah, but I hate to do it, man, but it just sounds too poetic. It sounds too off-Broadway. Our fearless leader gets the ball and no one else touches it. Yeah, that may be the right guy, but it's the wrong time. It's the wrong play call for the right guy. You can't set up a play like this and then expect it to go perfectly, and that play was a setup play. The whole thing was a setup. Like, you're going down to set yourself up for what? 5 verticals, whatever it may be. Like you said, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott at the 25-yard line. Now we got something to work with. But that was a setup. And it was a setup to think that the setup play was going to work perfectly. So Dak Prescott, being the fearless leader or not, who wasn't having a good day, is not the right guy. And even if he is the right guy, it's certainly the wrong moment. I look at it like this. Dak Prescott deserves a lot of blame. And as the show continues, we shall start to give him more of the blame. But I got Kellen Moore at the top of my list because there's just too many questionable calls. And more importantly, I question the overall philosophy and the script of this game. You know that you're 11-0 when you rush for 100-plus yards. That means force-feed it. I don't care how. Look at the Buffalo Bills game. And everyone's talking about Josh Allen. And everyone's talking about how they scored a touchdown on every single possession. But you know what they finally did? They just committed to the running game. It set everything else up. I got a couple other, but let's just go back and forth. A little ping pong up here, but I got 2 more others.
Here's my problem with that, because I do agree with you. Well, run the ball. Dak Prescott is 31-0 when his team rushes for 100 yards.
Come on, man.
31-0, excuse me, not when his team rushes for 100 yards, when he has more rushing attempts than passing attempts. 31-0. Here's a problem.
This ain't rocket science.
That's we're saying that Ezekiel Elliott averaged 1 yard before contact. His lowest ever.
Yeah.
1 yard before contact. I'm watching this game, Sel. Now, I was going to tweet it, but I didn't because I was like, let me just chill. I breathe a sigh of relief as a Niners linebacker every time Zeke is in the game. And I exhale fully that sigh every time Zeke touches a ball. I'm much more worried about Dak Prescott with the ball in his hands, especially if CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper are out there, than I am about turning and handing it off to a PCL-torn Ezekiel Elliott. He admitted he had a torn PCL the second half of the season. Hand the ball off if you want to, but if you want to go running game to running game, Niners versus Cowboys, I think we all would have been pleased. Go talk to me.
I'm not doing that. What I'm doing is showing you why the Dallas Cowboys didn't even play their best game, so they stood no chance against another team that played their game. You have 2 opponents to face. The first one is not the other color. It's yourself. And if the Dallas Cowboys are going to lose to themselves, then guess what? The 49ers is going to do what they got to do. As they came out the tunnel with the boombox, which was different. I never knew a coach would allow that. I wonder what they was really playing on that boombox. But they came out, and you saw them scoring their first 4 drives because they were rolling. They were sticking to the script. And what were the Dallas Cowboys out there doing? Fighting themselves.
Punched in the mouth.
You know what? When you walk into a punch in the mouth, you know what the first thing that happened was? Not the contact of their fist hitting you in the lip. Well, the fact that you weren't properly defending yourself. You weren't properly attacking. The Cowboys came out the gate initially with the wrong philosophy, with the wrong game plan, and certainly the wrong execution.
But here's my thing, Seth.
And that comes from Kellen Moore.
Here's my thing, big dog. I don't think they did. The Cowboys are who we thought they were. The Dallas Cowboys are pretty. The Niners are gritty. Those 2 things do not mix. What did we say the week leading up to the game? What did I say? I said the Cowboys do everything great. But if you look closely, there's one thing they do not do well. That is stop the run. I followed up by saying, well, Acho, the Cowboys are 16th in stopping the run. Look closer. Cowboys are 23rd in yards per carry allowed. The Cowboys in the season give up 4.4 yards per carry. What do you think the Niners averaged yesterday? 4.4 yards per carry. We knew the Cowboys couldn't stop the run if you were paying attention. What else did we discuss? We said the San Francisco 49ers don't even try to pass the ball. 29th in passing attempts all season. 5th in rushing attempts. What the Niners go out there and do? 38 runs, 162 yards, 4.5 yards a carry. Cowboys, first drive. What did we say? The Niners, if they score first, they will win the game. Cowboys were 0-5 when the Cowboys lost all 5 of their games. Their 5 losses was when the opposing team scored first. Niners went out there and what they do? They scored first. Everything that we talked about, it came to fruition. So why did the Cowboys lose? Because they were supposed to lose. We don't get up here after a show and ask Sel, hey, why'd you lose to Usain Bolt? Because Usain Bolt was supposed to beat you. Why'd the Niners beat the Cowboys? Because the Niners were supposed to beat the Cowboys. If we had been watching, which we had, if we had been paying attention, which we had, if we had been analyzing the game, which we had, we called it. I called it to a T. Cowboys give up 4.4 yards a carry. The Niners got 4.4 yards a carry. Niners scored first. Niners won the game. Cowboys, if you let them score first, you lose the game. Everything we talked about. Everything we talked about.
I'm not that guy. I ain't the one that want that type of credit. Like, I give me my credit, but don't you dare come out here and almost bust a turtleneck and a vest and talk about, yeah, we nailed it to a T.
We did. This one,
dog,
I done missed a lot of takes, but this one.
Dog, they won by one play. And they won by a nail-biter, and who took a breath of relief in that game before time expired? Not a single soul, including the San Francisco 49er faithful, to the point where this didn't go as scripted. This was stat selection. Right now, you nailed it. You nailed it in totality. You nailed it overall. I give you all that. However, dog, did you nail that Trent Williams was going to have mind control over Randy Gregory to the point where Randy Gregory, look, if you're going to get blocked, stay on sides and get blocked. Don't jump off sides and get blocked the entire game. Don't hold an offensive lineman and tackle him to the ground when not only is the ball carrier past you, but the offensive lineman can't make another block. Everything is past you. Randy Gregory is another person I want to highlight in terms of who I'm looking at. Like, bruh, you already made them go through hell just to get you on the field. And then you get on the field in such a critical moment, and this is how you perform. My last one is this. And this is something you led me to. This is real. You nailed some of the stats, but don't act like we called this.
This one I called.
When you call it?
All of it.
It took all 60 minutes.
December 22nd, I called this one. Because on December 22nd, I said, I don't care who the Niners play.
That's real.
They will win their very first playoff game. I said after the Cowboys lost to the Chiefs, and you mocked me.
Okay.
After the Cowboys lost to the Chiefs, I said the Cowboys will lose their very first playoff game. I didn't know the Niners were going to end up playing the Cowboys. That just ended up working out to my favor.
Yeah.
But you know, these two, I called these ones, big dog.
Okay, but it took you all 60 minutes, and you know you didn't send the tweet out for a reason. Like, I just want you to make sure you understand how close this one was, despite you saying that the 49ers were supposed to win. Were they supposed to win? And more importantly, why is your mind wrapped around, here go the Cowboys again, instead of looking at this one through a mental vacuum?
You are on to something. The game was close. Now,
you think?
We can't say the game came down to one play because here's what so many people, myself included, have done. I just had to slap myself and wake myself up. We all assume if the Cowboys wouldn't have run that QB draw, like they would have won. As if they didn't need a touchdown.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, if the Cowboys don't run that draw, they have to convert a Hail Mary. That's not likely.
Or two plays.
Tough. But then remember, they needed 7. They didn't need 3.
Yep.
But even beyond that, even if Dak Prescott hands the ball to the official and they spike it, they still got to score.
They still got to score
from the 25 without a timeout to drop a play. So let's also remember, the Niners still had won. But my final point, and I'm going to say it again later on in the show, but let me preface now with it, is this. Regardless of everything else that occurred over the course of the game, the Niners scored first, which told us the Niners were likely to win, but more importantly, Dak Prescott was playing a playoff team, which told us the Cowboys were likely to lose. I'm going to give y'all a statistic that isn't even mind-blowing, but it does startle you a little bit. 8 divisions in football. The best quarterback in the division won the division for every single division. The best, and there's a small asterisk of healthiest. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, they won. Matthew Stafford and the Rams, they won their division. Stafford's the quarterback that didn't miss any games. Russell Wilson did. Kyler Murray did. Aaron Rodgers, best quarterback in that division, they won. Tom Brady, best quarterback in that division, they won. Joe Burrow didn't miss any games, but you could also say best quarterback in that division, they won. You could go to Ryan Tannehill, best quarterback in that division because Davis Mills and the other guys, they won. Josh Allen, best quarterback in that division, they won.
Don't you do this last one.
The best quarterbacks in every single division, Patrick Mahomes.
Whoa, what was that? Justin Herbert going by? Well, that boy got an electric car.
Best quarterback in every division. Why am I bringing this up to Marcellus' point? Because it seems like an aside for this reason. I don't have to tell you about the best defense. I don't have to tell you about the best receiving core. I don't have to tell you about the best coach. I don't have to tell you about what teams won by how many points. All I have to tell you is the best quarterback won. With that being said, there are statistics that trump all the other minutia. And the statistic that trumps all the other minutia is the best quarterback in the division won the division. So the statistic that trumps all the other minutia of this football game, the San Francisco 49ers scored first. The statistic that trumps all the other minutia, the San Francisco 49ers are a playoff team, and the Cowboys do not do well with playoff teams. So we can talk about the QB draw. We can talk about Kellen Moore's bad play calling. We can talk about Dak's interception. We can talk about, it doesn't even matter. That's all minutia. The bigger picture was, and you and I said, and you agreed, If the Niners score first, they will win.
Yeah,
if the Cowboys
nailed
score
it.
first, they will
My
win.
dog.
Nothing else matters. Oh, let's get to the rest of the show.
Okay,
Nothing else
okay.
matters.
All I want you to know is let's get out of the minutia. And overall point, you're right. The teams that won their division had the best quarterback.
Yes, sir.
And then we saw this weekend, wild card weekend, the team with the better quarterback also won all of these games. I would argue that Dak Prescott is still better than Jimmy Garoppolo. You would probably argue the same. And as well, in the AFC West, we're going to have a conversation soon about who's the better quarterback of those two. All things considered, there were too many issues for the Dallas Cowboys to overcome, and most of them were self-inflicted.
Yes,
49ers, you just were victorious because you guys were present.
Next, big dog?